Hi, folks. Welcome into the Fourth and Fun podcast. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Sauer, and with me today,
Clayton Shackles.
as always, my co-host. And today, we are coming at you with our first and last place predictions for the power conferences and the group of five conferences in college football. The only one we will be omitting is the Pac-12 because obviously that is only first and second place.
That'll be another year until we can actually do that.
Yeah, when they get all the state schools, Boise State,
Texas, no, Boise. Oh, the other getting
Boise State,
Texas State,
Fresno State, San Diego State.
San Jose going.
Yeah,
UTEP's going.
all the fun ones. Anyways, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. As always, feel free to leave your comments down below. Tell us where we missed it, or as always, tell us where we got it right. I will jump in, and we'll be going in alphabetical order.
You want to do a conference at a time, or?
Yeah, we'll just do the first conference. So for me, my best in the AAC is Navy. Now, they have 8 returning starters on the offense, and with an offense like Navy's, it's built to hold the ball for 40 minutes. So you got 8 returning starters, including their quarterback, who I think had 36 offensive touchdowns last year. Very, very solid. Also a team that had 10 wins last year, so with the continuity of 8 returning starters on offense and 5 on defense, very, very good. And then a pretty favorable schedule also.
What happened to Army?
Army lost a lot, including their quarterback who finished
Horvath
6th.
is gone?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep, and he finished 6th last year in Heisman voting. That was a big reason because it was between Navy, Army, and Tulane for me for the AAC, but I think the others just lost too much, and I am a big-time fan of teams that are returning a quarterback, and then also the schedule is very favorable for Navy. The only tough game on the schedule, and it is a absolute bear of a team, is Notre Dame, and it's at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's an L.
But out of the entire schedule, that's the only loss I see. And with most teams, you can add in one weird loss, at Tulane or something. But I don't even think they go to Tulane this year. So that's my best in the AAC. And my worst in the AAC is Tulsa. This is a team that I think they won 3 games last year, and it was a miracle that they won 3. They returned only 2 starters, and their first-year head coach is a head coach that really likes a dual-threat quarterback, and he doesn't have that. He has a returning quarterback, but he is a pocket-friendly quarterback. And then you add into that the fact that they play Navy, they go to Army, they go to Oklahoma State, they go to Oregon State, and they play at Memphis. That is a tough schedule, especially for a first-year head coach.
She's the worst naming. All right, my winner. You mentioned them for the AAC. Tulane. I don't know. I can't remember the coach's name, but what he's building in Tulane.
Summerall, right?
I believe so. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a. I don't know.
I can't remember if he's still there or if he left.
Never huge on coaches' names unless I absolutely know them in college. But what he's been building, and I'm sure he's been there for years, in Tulane is remarkable. And we've been waiting for the years where they finally make that next step. I think this is gonna be the year.
And they had 9 wins last year.
Yeah,
very solid.
And two games that are iffy for them. Well, one's not so iffy, but one's also iffy just because you don't know what you're gonna get based on how they performed last year. Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard game. It's a hard game.
And I believe that's at Ole Miss, correct? Yeah.
And then they play Army. But they also play Temple and Charlotte, who are bottom feeders.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I was just looking at their schedule because you mentioned you didn't know if they played Navy or not. They do not. But they also play Duke. But that's home.
Well, I wouldn't discount Duke. A 9-win team last year.
I just didn't put them on the list. That's another one that's I
was going to say, for me, Tulane's one that I really looked at. It was the schedule that scared me. and it was the not returning a starting quarterback.
And like they play Memphis and East Carolina, and Memphis is always that team in the American Conference that is just fighting. Like they are one of the top tier teams of the AAC.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think this year they finally make that jump. Not saying college football playoffs.
But are you though?
They could if their only loss is Ole Miss. Absolutely.
Especially being at Ole Miss.
And if they keep it close, absolutely. It'd be just like Boise State last year because they lost to Oregon in overtime.
And to be clear, we are not today doing our college football playoff picks. That's way down the line.
I was just saying it's a huge if.
That is an if, but coming out of the AAC, that's one of the conferences that you think is probably the better of the group of five.
That's the number one group of five conference.
Well, the Mountain West. I was going to say the Mountain West might have a word with you.
On most years, last year was Mountain West for sure, but on most years, AAC is the most entertaining and most competitive group of five conference.
Oh, absolutely. And your worst team?
Oh yeah, FAU.
FAU, okay.
One for Anderson University because I hate them, but for Florida Atlantic, they got Maryland, Memphis, Navy, Tulane, and Eastern Carolina on their conference. Those are 5 difficult games. I know East Carolina isn't the best team, but they're mid-tier, and FAU had 3 wins last year.
Well, and you go 2 in East Carolina. That's not an easy trip.
You got Navy, who, like you said, bringing back, 8 starters? Or something like that?
Navy is bringing back 8 starters on the offense.
Yeah. That's
another 5 on the defense.
And they were good last year. It's going to be very difficult. Tulane, always a difficult team. Memphis, always a difficult team in the AAC. And then you got Maryland. I know they're a bottom feed of the Big Ten, but that's Power 5 you're going into. Now, do I think they could pull it off because it's Maryland? Yes. It's going to be a challenge, though.
Honestly, I think the AAC is the most difficult to predict because you have such a difference in offensive styles.
Yeah.
You've got all the way to the air raid offense, all the way to the triple option. Navy and Army are going to run a completely different system than, say, Tulane or a team like that where, Tulane could score on the first play an 80-yard touchdown, but Navy is going to run a 13-play, 9-minute, 80-yard drive.
Yeah. Like they will cram it down your throat.
Exactly. And that's just going to wear down a defense. That for me is another reason why I really like Navy. Returning 8 starters on the offense, including the quarterback.
They're a very similar offense to Army, if not the same offense. It seems to be, well, actually, Air Force airs it out more than your other academies. But,
I mean,
in the AAC, they're just hard-nosed, we're going to cram it down your throat offenses.
I mean, if Army throws it 10 times a game, it's because they're down 40 points.
Yeah.
Or Navy. But Air Force, they like to build off of the triple option, but Navy and Army will run it down your throat with a triple option.
Air Force won me a bet one time, though. They did.
Alrighty, on to our second conference. And this is one for me that hits home a little bit because my team goes there. My team obviously is Louisville, as you guys know if you've watched the show at all. My number 1 team, Clemson. And I will give you 2 words why it's Clemson. Cade Klubnik. The best player, in my opinion, in college football coming back this year. I think he is an easy Heisman frontrunner. Now, as the season goes, who knows? He may end up with an injury.
His best dual threat, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, they have that game week 1 against LSU, but it is at home.
Yeah.
I think week 1 could be the best week for games in college football, but I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Oh, wait. We don't have a home game that week.
But Clemson plays LSU at home. Nobody's really said it, but is it not the battle for who's the real Death Valley? Because Clemson, they're the Death Valley, and LSU, they're the Death Valley. I mean, is it not the battle for who's the real Death Valley?
Might be.
Because if LSU can go in and win that game,
Yeah, but you got to think who their coach is.
yeah. And then another thing that I really like about Clemson, they bring in Tom Allen as a DC hire. He was the defensive coordinator last year at Penn State when I think they were top 10 in just about every defensive category. And he was also the head coach at Indiana.
Okay,
Granted,
so
Indiana is a very, very tough team to be a head coach
sorry,
at.
no, hold on. They're a
But-
football school now. They're a football school now.
Well, based off how they did in baseball and basketball, I'd say yes.
They get 1 year in there.
But he did have some solid defenses, and he did bring a team
Don't lick me.
to the absolute doorstep of a Big Ten title game. So, never going to knock that. And then also, Clemson has 8 returning starters on the offense. And, you know, with Tom Allen coming in, they can still live
No.
with the... This is my dog, Cookie.
I know what you did earlier. No.
They can live with the defensive players that they're missing. I think they bring back 5. They replace a lot on the D-line. But I really like the Tom Allen hire. And then for my worst team or last team in the ACC, I have Stanford. Now, this is a team that is breaking in a new head coach that has never coached in college football. He has 2, in my opinion, unsuccessful coaching tenures in the NFL, and that's Frank Reich. I mean, in addition to breaking in a new head coach, they also went 3-9 last year. They do return 10 starters, but how much is that really going to improve you if you only had 3 wins last year? I would like to think some, because I as a football fan, I like Stanford because, you know, they're a brain school, and they have to have players that conform to their academic standards, but I just don't see it.
Let's have some dogs in the pat. Well, 1 dog.
Well, Andrew
2 dogs.
Luck, Christian McCaffrey,
Richard Sherman.
Bryce Love.
Yeah.
Some really good players come through there in the past. But last year, they were ranked outside the top 100 in offense and defense, and they break in a new head coach. And I believe they have 7 games on the road this year. That is a recipe for disaster. Also adding into that, Stanford is on the West Coast. The ACC, there is 15 teams
There's a reason it's called
on the East Coast.
There's a reason it's called the Atlantic Coast Conference.
So, I mean, just basically everything stacks up against
Pretty
them this
sure
year.
they talked about going back to the Pac-12.
It makes more sense for them, especially when you think about like tennis and those other sports that don't make that much money.
All that traveling.
You're spending thousands of dollars to go to Syracuse, New York.
Yeah. I think we matched on the ACC. I had Clemson winning. Notable game, LSU. Syracuse will be interesting just because they lost Kyle McCord and they lost their running back. Don't remember his name. You just don't know what you're going to get out of them. Louisville and SMU as well as they play. I do think they'll beat SMU. Louisville, they got beat by Louisville last year, so it's going to see. Honestly, I think that game's going to come down to how Miller Moss performs.
I think that might be a game this year that just is absolutely fireworks this year. You know how there were a few games last year, obviously the first game of the year with LSU and USC, that was just right down to the wire, that was amazing.
Who played Georgia to start off the year? That was Clemson.
Well, and also the Alabama game last year, just fireworks. I think this year that's going to be the game that we look at and we're like, wow, whoever had the ball last there won the game.
See, SMU, I just don't know again. Like, they came in, dominated, like, won the AC, not dominated, but, like, did pretty well.
First year.
Yeah, in the ACC coming out of the American.
Yeah, and they bring back Kevin Jennings.
Yep.
Who I really like a lot at quarterback.
They lost Smith, but I think they'll be okay. UNC, kind of depends on the Bill Belichick hire, but...
Is his girlfriend coaching the special teams?
Maybe. And then last, you said it, Stanford. I mean, they play BYU, SMU, Miami, Pitt, UNC, Notre Dame. I mean, they got a difficult schedule for being a bottom feeder of the ACC, and they're more worried about their academics over there.
Yep.
So football's not going to get a lot, But
I
even
mean,
like last year, all they had was a receiver. And I don't remember his name. I know he head top Travis Hunter.
he wasn't even that good.
But
Like they
I don't know,
played
he beat
Louisville
the
last
He
year.
absolutely dominated the Heisman winner.
So but he's not back this year,
Hey.
right?
Who dominated Ashton Genty? Nobody. So I don't understand. This is my little shade of the
I mean, even the game they played against who did they play in the playoff? Penn State.
Yeah.
He still had 90 yards rushing?
Yeah, with 8+ in the box every play.
Just about every play.
But I mean, that was probably this ACC is by far the easiest conference to predict. I mean,
but it's between 2 and 6 that you really have that debate on where you put teams, because a lot of people are putting Miami. I don't respect them as much as everybody does.
I think they'll be a difficult team to play. Do I think they will be a top 2 team in the conference? No.
I just think this year
in the ACC title game.
I think this year is where we really get to appreciate how good Cam Ward was at Miami. Because
that's a lot of shoes for Carson Beck.
I was gonna say, let's be honest. Carson Beck is a solid quarterback, very good at a program like Georgia, but at a program where you have to be amazing, like Cam Ward was last year, I don't see it.
I mean, he was at Georgia and was abysmal his last year there. I wouldn't say abysmal.
Not what we expected.
Yes.
All right, moving on. The Big Ten. This is the one I'm most excited about. This is the one you won't agree with me, but I will fight for this team. My first place team. This is not the best team, but the team I think will finish first in the Big Ten, Illinois.
That is a hot take. I don't
It's
agree
a hot
with it.
take.
That's a hot take, though.
It is a hot take.
Is Luke Altmaier come back? Yes.
Luke Altmaier is back.
Okay.
They return 17 starters
Okay.
out of 22.
Okay. I know how you are with your starters. I like Illinois. I don't have them winning.
I mean, they had 10 wins last year, and they returned 17 starters.
I could see them finishing as a top 10 team.
Well, that's before you look at the schedule. Their only real tough game, without including a misstep, is Ohio State. And it is at Ohio State. So I'm not going to necessarily chalk that up to a win, obviously, because Ohio State's a very well put together team. But they are breaking in a new quarterback. So, that's one that's maybe up in the air. And they're a team that relies on their defense more so than their offense. And their defense should be even better. This is a Brett Bielema coach team. And if you remember him at Wisconsin, don't remember the Arkansas teams because he sucked there. But if you remember him at Wisconsin, his teams.
Taylor?
Yes. No. That was Monte Ball and Melvin Gordon. He had both of them at running backs.
Oh, that far back. Okay.
So he was able to control the ball on the ground.
They have a solid running back.
Just about every year,
Whiteboard.
it seems like Brett Bielema has a very good running back core. So that's a team I really trust in the Big Ten that I think will have at least, this is my pick right now, they will have at least 10 wins in the regular season. I think they'll have 11.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
All right. And then moving on to my last team, and this is probably one of the easier ones that I had to pick. And it's a program that I like because I'm an Indiana boy, near and dear to me. Purdue. Let's be honest. You're a basketball school. I don't believe that Drew Brees is going to be walking through that door again. And 1-11 last year.
Good coach hire.
They have one returning starter between their offense and defense. I mean, their recruiting was not that good. So if you're only returning one player, that's not good. I will say I like their future. Barry Odom is a very good head coach. He's the only coach in UNLV's history, well, not in the entire history, but I think in the past 60 years, to have back-to-back winning seasons.
It's a program builder.
He's a program builder. So you give this guy 3 years, I wouldn't say they're going to contend for a Big Ten title because I don't think they will, But I think you give this guy 3 years, he's top 6, maybe top 5 in the Big Ten, and I don't think that's that much of a stretch.
All right, for my Big Ten, you went Illinois. I'm gonna go Oregon.
Oh, okay.
I know they lost their quarterback. They lost a lot because they're that kind of program. But since they're also that kind of program, they're going to bring in a lot of talent. Looking at their schedule, they only have one difficult game, which is Penn State. They also play Indiana. Do I think Indiana's going to be what they were last year? Absolutely not.
I still think they'll have a winning record, but they won't be what they were last year.
You're not going to see that little freak. I'm going to watch my language, but the little crap talker, I don't even remember his name. That's how irrelevant he is.
The crap talker.
Their coach.
Oh, Kurt Signetti?
Yeah, see, I couldn't even remember his name.
The guy that's never had a losing record?
I don't remember his name. Doesn't matter to me. Got dominated in the college football playoffs.
Well, honestly, that was the closest game that weekend.
Hold on. Pardon my language. He doesn't beat ranked teams. He beats the shit out of them, apparently. Anyways, I think Oregon's going to absolutely wipe the floor with them. So outside of that, they only have one. They'll wipe the floor with them.
I don't know. I really like Mendoza, their quarterback coming in at Indiana.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be enough.
Well, I mean, that's a good start, though.
Program-wise, Oregon's up here. Indiana doesn't even have a winning record in their all-time. They're like one of the
overall, yes.
They are one of the, as a win-loss record, they are considered one of the worst programs ever. I'm not hating. That's just a fact. that is just a fact. I understand they've been in.
I mean, it is a bit of hating.
They've been in the NCAA for a while, but their win-loss record is atrocious. Like Kentucky's been a terrible program. We have a better win-loss record than them. We actually have a winning record.
Do you really?
Barely.
Well, you did have Bear Bryant.
Yeah, but Oregon's, for being a number one undefeated. Were they undefeated? Yeah.
They were undefeated going into the playoff.
Yeah. Undefeated team. Very soft schedule. So I think it'd be a cakewalk for them. I do think Penn State can beat them. But I think it'd be a very good cakewalk for them to win the Big Ten. Last, you hit it, Purdue. I mean, they play USC, Notre Dame, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio State. Why is it that the good teams get the cupcakes and then you got your terrible teams that just get thrown into the blender?
Probably something to do with the athletic directors.
Yeah.
Not saying that there's a conspiracy, but
I'm not saying Michigan's going to be all that, but like Michigan is far in between better than Purdue.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, bringing in one starter. I mean, you're just not going to compete with the likes of Notre Dame, who went to the championship last year, Ohio State, who won the championship last year, Michigan, who won a championship 2 years ago, Illinois, who was on the verge of making the playoffs, and then you got USC, who started off hot, fell off towards the end, but Lincoln Riley seems to be like a quarterback whisperer with no matter who comes in.
Oh, yeah. That's another team I think that's going to really improve.
So, I mean, I can't see Purdue. I see Purdue winning their out-of-conference games. That's about all you're going to see out of them.
I mean, I totally agree with Purdue. I mean, just a program that you just can't rely on to be any good lately, it seems. I mean, other than Jeff Brom in the past 20 years, that program is just a black hole.
Yeah. I bet they have pulled out some crazy things in the past when they beat Ohio State.
With Jeff Brom. And when they beat Iowa with Jeff Brom.
It kind of just comes up to this coaching hire. Like, how is he going to pan out?
Yeah, that's true. I really like Barry Odom.
He might come in and throw in 5 wins his first year. Might. It's a big might.
That is a big might.
But he could do it.
All right, on to the Big 12. This is one that I think there's probably 5 teams that could win.
Difficult to pick the winner.
It really was.
I had a winner, and this goes back to like one of the videos we did earlier. And now that the quarterback's gone.
Yep, that's another reason I didn't pick that team. But for me, there was 2 teams that I really considered Both were bringing back their starting quarterbacks,
No.
and that was Texas Tech, who is not the team that I'm picking to be first. It's Iowa State. And there's a few reasons why. One is their head coach, Matt Campbell. He's been there, I believe, about a decade now. Very solid program builder. And they also bring back Rocco Becht, who I think is probably one of the more underrated college football starting quarterbacks. He may not be a household name, but this kid threw for over 25 touchdowns last year, over 3,500 yards. Very respectable guy. They had 11 wins last year. And in looking at their schedule, I thought it was fairly easy. I couldn't even think of a game to highlight as their toughest game.
I got 2.
Like, I mean, there were there were a bunch of games that they had that were like, ooh, man, if I was a betting man, I'd say they're probably like 3-point favorites in this game. But that's a team I think that's probably gonna maybe lose 2 games, maybe if they really slip up. But I think it's an easy 11-win year for Iowa State in the regular season. And then moving on to the last team, and this one I really hate to do it again because I really love their head coach, Mike Gundy, but it's Oklahoma State. This is a team that went 3-9 last year with probably one of the more talented, probably top 3 talented running backs in the entire nation. They return 2 starters between their offense and defense. 2.
I think he's on the hot seat.
And their schedule is not very favorable. So with a heavy heart, I say Oklahoma State. And with a heavy heart, I think this is Mike Gundy's last year.
I would say I think he's on the hot seat. So we hit the mark. Iowa State, both agreed.
Yeah.
You said there was not 2 games you could see them losing.
Yeah.
I have 2 games for you. Kansas State, Arizona State.
That's one that, to me, I think Kansas State's just as good. But I trust a veteran starting quarterback over Avery Johnson.
I will say I'm saying those are their 2 toughest games. So I know Arizona State, because I also mentioned Arizona State. They lost Scatterboo. They still got a decent running back that was playing second string.
Yes.
They brought back Levitt. They do have a solid wide receiver 1. I can't remember his name. But they are still going to be a formidable offense.
I just thought their schedule was a little less favorable.
Yeah.
Because in the non-con, I think they play a really tough team.
I'm not saying they're going to win. But I have Iowa State winning. But I think those are the 2 games that are big head scratchers for me where I'm like, well, is Avery Johnson?
Yep, Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson's going to show up.
At Kansas State, right?
Yeah. And then Arizona State, it's like, is that often... obviously, that offense is not going to be as explosive without Scatterboo, but...
And obviously, this is no dog on Sam Levitt.
No, I think Sam Levitt's good.
I think he's very good. I haven't seen enough from Kenny Dillingham over a long term that I have seen from Matt Campbell.
I think he will be a great college coach.
I do too.
He's young.
Really like him.
The players buy in. He's a great locker room presence.
Obviously, he's a good coach. He made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
winning the Big 12 in your first year in the Big 12.
And they were 1 play away from beating Texas last year.
Yes, and projected to be last in their division.
Yeah, exactly.
And came out on top. I think Kenny Dillingham will be good, but losing Scatterboo, it's like, what are you going to get? So I'm going to go Iowa State. Last, we did not agree, UCF. Sorry, Scott Frost, but you play... West Virginia got a new hire. That one's a maybe. Got to see what you're going to get out of that. UNC, new hire, and Bill Belichick. You got to see what you're getting. Baylor, pretty decent last year, so they might be building something there. Texas Tech, also bringing back a veteran. And then I put down BYU just because I know their head coach is good.
Kalani Sitake.
Yeah. It's just, like, without Retzlaff, I don't know who their backup is.
Yeah.
So, but I know BYU, even without Retzlaff, is a tough team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know quarterback. That's your general out there, and that's kind of like the guy that makes plays. But either way, that defense is pretty stout. They're pretty loaded with weapons. It's just how does the quarterback perform?
And I mean, for me, with a lot of these teams, obviously 1 through 5, I think they're very similar talent wise. I would have said 1 through 6, but BYU kind of screwed themselves out of that situation.
Yeah.
By getting Retzloff to leave.
I'm not gonna talk about why,
but the reason I chose Iowa State was the head coaching factor. Like, I think Kenny Dillingham is a great coach, but I haven't seen it over an extended period of time.
You kind of gotta wait and see. It
could
be a 1-year fluke.
Like, he's 3 games above 500 in 2 years, right? Yeah. Matt Campbell is the best coach in Iowa State's history. He had the most wins they've ever had last year. I think he's coached him to 2 other 10-win seasons before that. So I just got to trust the continuity there, and then with Rocco Beck being back.
Another thing with UCF, they lost their best player in R.J. Harvey. I don't know what happened to KJ Jefferson. I know he transferred there, and he kind of just fell off the face of the earth.
Well, he exhausted his eligibility, right?
I have no idea. I know he transferred, and I never heard from him again.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot on him last year.
But felt like their best player, R.J. Harvey's gone. Not Horn. They had a receiver that was all right, but it's just
I can't remember his name.
Not a lot of talent there. I think Scott Frost will help build the talent.
Yeah,
but I just don't see it this year.
Yeah, that's one for me that I think Scott Frost is a good enough coach to rebuild that team. I think Mike Gundy is a very good coach, but I think with the absolute
time.
Well, I don't even know that. I think it's just the team that is there is just so bad that I mean,
you had a 7th-year player last year.
I mean, every coach that's coached at a decently high level can tell you this. You can call the best play in the world, but if the players aren't good enough, it's not going to succeed.
You don't have the right personnel either.
Exactly. All right, moving on to the Conference USA. And we're going to be going a little bit quicker through these non-Power 5s since we're already running over 30 minutes long. But so for me, for Conference USA, I have Sam Houston winning the conference.
Dude, that was a tough one for me, but they lost their head coach.
It is a tough one, but they had 10 wins last year, and Oregon State is their toughest game. Now, Oregon State, you don't know what they're going to be this year, at least for me. So, I mean, I don't see that as being an overly tough game. I mean, obviously, being a Power 5 school is a little bit of an advantage for them, but, not great. But they also return their quarterback, and they return 3 offensive linemen on the offense. So, I mean, with them being so good last year and what they return, I really like them this year. And then for my last team, FIU. They have 4 returning starters. I believe they had 2 wins last year. I don't have that written down, so you may need to fact check me there. But in addition to that, I'll just tell you their schedule. This is 5 games that I wrote down because I thought any team that plays all these games is going to have a tough time. At Penn State, week 2. At UConn, who is not great, but definitely better than what we think of when we think of UConn. At Western Kentucky, at Sam Houston State, and they play Delaware, who is a first-year Division I FBS team, but they had 9 wins last year, a perennial FCS powerhouse. I think that's just going to be really tough for them. And in addition to that, a first-year head coach. All that together, I just don't see FIU being... I don't see them not being any good, but I don't see them being close to good, if that makes sense.
See, finally got a conference we don't agree on anybody.
Oh, okay.
My first place is Western Kentucky.
Ooh, yeah, that's one
I think they were 2nd or 3rd last year. Their toughest game will be LSU. They will be playing the winner of Conference USA last year in Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
But outside of those two, I mean, it's a pretty easy schedule for them. And then last, it's a toss-up between the two newbies, Delaware and Montana State. I'm going to go with Montana State, who plays USC, SMU, and Liberty.
I mean, 3 really tough games.
Yeah, and I took them over Delaware because, like you said, Delaware has 9 wins. They're the more formidable FCS team coming up.
Yeah.
I said Montana State. I meant Missouri State.
I was going to say, I thought they still were.
I don't know.
FCS.
I wrote down Montana State because I guess I saw MO.
But I was going to roll with
it. I meant Missouri State. I don't see them competing at the level as Delaware State. I know it's hard for teams coming in the FBS. That's why between them two, like look at Kennesaw State. They were god awful last year.
And Bobby Petrino's not there anymore.
Yeah, so it had to be one of them two, and I think I'm going to go with the lesser of the two in Montana State.
Missouri State.
Missouri State.
Missouri State.
I keep looking at my paper and I see Montana.
All right, moving forward quickly, we'll be moving on to the MAC now, a conference I really love because when else are you going to be able to see a Tuesday night football game?
Maction, baby.
Maction, baby.
One bet's on Maction.
My winner of Maction, Toledo. My number one reason is because of Jason Candle, the head coach. He's been there a decade. I don't think he's ever had a losing season there. They had 8 wins last year. They returned 10 starters, including the quarterback. Jason Candle being an offensive guy, he's probably salivating at the mouth thinking about that. And then when you look at the schedule, their toughest game is at Kentucky. That's a pretty favorable schedule. I mean, as much as you bellyache, and I know that's kind of a shade thrown at your team, but let's be honest, Kentucky had 4 wins last year. I don't see them being better this year.
Fire Mark Stoops.
I really like Toledo this year, schedule and what they bring back. Big fan of Toledo. The last team.
Lose to them.
All right, my last team, and I think this is probably going to be the worst team in college football as far as FBS teams go, is Kent State.
Nope, we did not agree.
We didn't? Okay. Kent State got a first-year head coach. I really like Dowell Loggins, but with what they've got and what they return and what they did last year, which was 0 wins, I don't think that they're going to be able to do much. And you add into that a tough schedule. I didn't write down exactly what they had, but I believe they had 6 away games, and 5 of them were against like the projected top 5 teams in the conference. I just don't see Kent State doing much.
All right. Well, my first place MAC team is Ohio, the winners from last year.
That's when I really looked at new head coach. That's the big thing for me.
I think they are the most talented team in the MAC. So I think the new head coach won't matter too much. And their hardest...
And new quarterback.
Yeah. I remember doing a rebuild with them, so I know about their quarterback. Their hardest game would be Ohio State. They do play West Virginia as well, but outside of that, like Akron, like
not too tough.
No.
But those are 2 really tough games.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I didn't pick them.
But I think they can end the season with 2 wins or 2 losses.
I mean, it's very possible. But they also play Toledo.
Yeah, it don't matter. Don't matter. They don't got Kareem Hunt.
They don't. But they got
Exactly.
Jason Candle.
No, Kareem Hunt ain't walking through that door. And then last place, you said worse. Got my hopes up that we matched. Newcomer to the MAC, UMass. They have not been in a conference in years. They were terrible last year.
Well, can I say they're the worst, but I don't think they'll finish last. Because I think they will get a win. I don't think Kent State's getting a win this year.
That's fair. Looking at their schedule, I mean, they play Iowa, Missouri. NIU will be tough. Ohio. I'm sure they play Toledo. Like, not an easy schedule coming into your first conference in God knows how long.
I don't even know if they had a conference before they came in from the FCS.
Well, they were.
I mean, since they came in
Yeah,
from
they
the
were.
FCS.
They came back in, and this is their first conference is coming back in, and they've been terrible since. And I could see them winning maybe 2 games.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the Mountain West. One of the easier ones as far as the first place team goes for me, Boise State. They had 12 wins last year. Obviously, they lose one of the most talented running backs we've seen this century in Ashton Jeanty. But they return their quarterback. I forgot to write down his name. Max something.
Maddox.
Madsen, yes. Max Madsen, right?
Like
or
that.
Maddox Madsen. That's his
It's a
name.
weird name.
Double M. Anywho, they returned 13 starters between their offense and defense, and they have only one tough game that I saw on the schedule, which is a game I don't see them winning, and it's at Notre Dame.
That's not.
But, I mean, all that coming together, I just see Boise State probably running through their schedule other than Notre Dame, which doesn't count against your conference losses, so Boise State, I think, is going to go undefeated in the conference. And then moving on to my last place team, this is New Mexico. They have a first-year head coach. I personally had never heard of him before.
Considered them.
They return only 5 starters, and they return 5 starters from a bad team. So, I mean, that really works against them. But another thing that really works against them, at Michigan, at UCLA, and at Boise State. That's 3 for sure losses, 3 losses I think that are probably going to be a combined 150 points. So that's my worst team in the Mountain West, New Mexico.
All right, first play, you hit it on the nail. Boise State. I mean, yes, you lose Jeanty. You got bringing back quarterback. The receiver core was not terrible.
Head coach is back.
Yeah, so I mean, pretty easy. Played Notre Dame. The only other game I circled on the schedule that would be difficult just because they're in the Sun Belt is App State. I know they're not.
You never know with them.
I know they're not what they used to be, but I just had to circle them toss up.
Certainly not an easy out-of-conference game.
Yeah. And then my last place is Wyoming.
Okay.
Won 3 games again last year. Plays Utah, UNLV, who is up and coming now apparently, and Colorado, which again I don't know what Colorado is going to be now that they lost Sanders and Travis Hunter, and they lost Jimmy Horn. Like they lost quite a bit, but I do think they will absolutely blow Wyoming out of the water, and I don't think Wyoming has just been god awful lately.
All right, moving on to the SEC. This is one where I know we'll disagree on the last team.
I swear to God, if you put my team.
My first place team, Texas.
Okay.
And I'll give you another 2 reasons or 2 words why. Steve Sarkisian. Great head coach, really knows how to coach an offense. You bring in Arch Manning, who everybody says is the best thing since sliced bread. He's the best quarterback coming out of high school that we've seen since Trevor Lawrence. We'll see. The only game for me that I see as a toss-up, and I still think it favors them, is at Georgia. I really like Georgia's roster, but I think Texas is the most put together 1 through 22 team in the entire nation. They bring back Bert Auburn, their kicker.
The kicker, baby.
I mean, they do have to replace, I think, the entire defensive backfield, but their defensive line, their linebackers, their offensive line, the majority of them come back. That's a team that I really trust. And also, I think it's a little bit hilarious that a Big 12 team will be the best SEC team.
It's Texas.
And then for my last place team, I'm not saying they're the worst, I'm saying they're the last place team, is Kentucky. I think When you really think about it,
Can I change my
What-
ACC pick?
I think when you really think about it, the strength of their team last year was the defense. Is their defense going to be better this year after losing 2 NFL players? The answer is no. Their offense, I'll say it can't be worse because it was horrible last year, but I don't see that much improvement. They have 7 total returning starters between the offensive and the defense. And in looking at their schedule, I see a maximum of 3 wins. Now, with Mississippi State, who's the other team I really considered, I think they have 3 certain wins. And they can maybe sneak somebody. I think Kentucky has 2 wins against their FCS opponent. Against Toledo is not a for sure win. They play at Vanderbilt, which is not a for sure win. And they play at Louisville, which is probably a loss.
Remember
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying
ruined your college football playoff hopes.
That's what I'm saying is there's a maximum of 3 wins that I see.
Okay, you can't
Realistically speaking.
can't ever count out rivalries.
Exactly. So I'm saying they either sneak Toledo or they sneak Louisville, in my opinion.
Well, my first place is Texas.
Fair enough.
You said your toss-up is Georgia. Another one's a toss-up. Red River Rivalry. God, that's a mouthful.
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma. You never know. Texas has been the better team the past 3 years, and Oklahoma has snuck out at least one.
I know they got one with Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
They may have gotten one 3 years ago. I don't know.
So,
And Oklahoma does have Johnny Mateer.
you know, that's a toss-up. You got Texas A&M and Ohio State as well, but I do think they pull it out on Georgia. Ohio State's, I think, the more toss-up between the two.
Well, I think the fact they get them early favors Texas.
Yeah. And then Texas, I only said Texas A&M because they're higher caliber SEC, so you don't really know. But I do think Texas is in favor on that. So that's all I got to say. They bring back a lot, too. Like, you hit it. You pretty much said everything already. My last place, Mississippi State. God-awful program. Lately, I wouldn't say god-awful program. Lately, they have been god-awful.
They had a few years with Dan Mullen where they were real good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say god-awful program, but lately, god-awful. Not a very favorable schedule. Arizona State, Texas A&M, Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri. I think they play South Carolina as well. I might be wrong on that.
I think they for sure have eight losses, but I think they have 3 for sure wins.
But
which is why I have them above Kentucky.
There is no end of the tunnel right now for them. Like, they are in a dark abyss. But would it shock you if Mississippi State beat Florida this year if DJ Lagway is not what we think he is? No, but that's what
exactly.
That's why it's a notable game for me. Is like, well, like obviously like your Texas, Georgia, Missouri, Texas A&M, easy losses. Arizona State's probably an easy loss as well. Arkansas, maybe. Florida's a maybe, depending on how Lagway plays. And Billy Napier, you never freaking know what kind of coach he's going to be. But, I mean, still, there's 5 losses right there. And I don't think they have the talent to beat Florida. I don't think they have the talent to beat Arkansas. I think their only wins are going to be out of conference.
I mean, for me personally, I didn't want to put Kentucky as last because I didn't want to get the hater label. But in looking at the schedule and what they return and what Mark Stoops has done the past 3 years,
I think Mississippi State's in a darker place than us. I do think we'll be second to last or at least down there. But I think they're in a darker place than what Kentucky is.
I mean, that's up for debate, though, because I don't know a single fan from Mississippi State that's like, we have to fire Jeff Lebby. We have to fire him right now. But Kentucky, if Mark Stoops didn't have a $50 million buyout last year, is he back?
God, no.
Exactly. Everybody wants him gone. If he doesn't win 8 games this year, is he back?
I hope not.
Exactly. I don't know. That's
He had his
just
high
my personal
point
feeling.
with Benny Snell, Lynn Bowden, Terry Wilson, all them, and now she's gone. Wandale Robinson, Smoke, Rodriguez, Maxwell Hairston.
All right, I think we'll just move on to something.
We have had plenty of talent.
Oh yeah, lots of talent. You know, I mean, Wesley
We beat Penn State in a bowl game.
You did. Well, that was like 7 years ago.
That was Benny Snell's senior year.
2019? 2019.
2019.
Yeah, 2019. So 6 years ago.
He broke the all-time Kentucky record that game.
6 years ago. All right. Moving on to the Sun Belt. We'll have a little bit more fun with the Sun Belt.
No, I won't. I don't care for any of these teams.
Okay. My number one team, the team I think is going to finish first in the Sun Belt, Georgia Southern.
Oh, really?
They had 8 wins last year. They returned 11 starters between the offense and the defense. They got Clay Helton back as the head coach, who I think really didn't get a fair shake at USC. I think he's a very good head coach. And if you look at him historically, when he's had teams, the third year for him is the best, and I believe this is his third year coming up. Also, when you add into that the favorable schedule that they play, I like Georgia Southern. Moving on to the last team. This is another reason why I had Mississippi State above Kentucky, is that they play Southern Miss, who I think is the worst team in the Sun Belt. I think that's an easy win for Mississippi State. Southern Miss returns 1 starter between their offense and defense. They had a really bad year recruiting. I think it was like 125th in the nation out of 133. And then you add in the 1-11 record last year, and you add in a first-year head coach. I think just another team that has a recipe for absolute disaster.
Well, we agreed on the last place, so I'll just go ahead and hit on it. Southern Miss, I mean, not a good team or program right now. They play App State, Jacksonville State, Mississippi State, and a team I put down who I think will give them trouble is Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
But for my first place, I have Louisiana Lafayette. Winners from last year winning.
Another one.
Pretty favorable schedule. Their only hard game difficult out of conference game would be Missouri. I said in conference, I said maybe Marshall. I know they lost a lot. They lost a crap ton.
And they lose their head coach.
Yeah.
Who is going to Southern Miss, so I'll give them that. I think they had the best offseason hire out of the Sun Belt.
I put a big maybe on Marshall.
Yeah.
But outside of Missouri, I mean, they have a pretty favorable schedule.
True.
So, yeah, I could see ULL.
I mean, for me, that's another one that comes down to the head coach. I really like Clay Helton as the head coach at Georgia Southern. I don't know enough about ULL's head coach, so that's where I am with that.
Enough about their program. I'm not even going to rebuild. Well, there's no point in rebuilding them in college football. I have my pick for that.
All right. Anyways, guys, that is our edition for this week. Obviously, I'm sure all of you agree with all of our picks. But if you do happen to disagree, or if you do agree and you think we're perfect on all of our picks, let us know below. And don't be afraid to like and subscribe.
Snell, yeah.
Disregard that. Anyways, this is Clayton Sauer and Clayton Shekels reminding you, if it's 4th down, have a little fun and
go for it.
Go for it.
Forgot.